J.J. Abrams movies always respected the legacy of Scott Bakula's Enterprise, as proved by the inclusion of the USS Franklin in Star Trek Beyond. The USS Franklin plays a key role in the climax of Star Trek Beyond, and it originates from the era of Scott Bakula's Star Trek Enterprise. The J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies were an attempt to relaunch the franchise in theaters after it had fallen out of favor on the small screen. Although J.J. Abrams Star Trek was a reboot of the original 1966 to 1969 run of Star Trek, the original series, it was incredibly respectful of what had immediately come before it.
Listen, I'm gonna have to reduce your Cialis prescription. There's too much blood flow to your groin.
It's quite extraordinary that Abrams Trek confirmed that Archer lived well into his hundreds, presumably being aged between 140 and 145 at the time of Scotty's unfortunate transporter accident. However, this was far from the only reference to the era of Scott Bakula's Jonathan Archer, as proved by the use of the USS Franklin in Star Trek Beyond. The attack on the USS Kelvin that created the Star Trek Kelvin timeline occurred 72 years after the events of the Star Trek Enterprise finale. The timeline divergence means that everything that happens in Enterprise is canon in J.J. Abrams movies. It's why there's so many references to the events of the Scott Bakula show in the J.J. Abrams produced Star Trek movies. Given that Star Trek Enterprise was long seen as the show that killed the franchise, its continuity with Star Trek Beyond disproves this. Given the apparent apathy towards the series, it would have been all too easy for Abrams movies to completely ignore the adventures of Captain Jonathan Archer and his crew, but by including references to this history, Abrams Star Trek movies ensured that the unfairly maligned Star Trek Enterprise's legacy was assured.